This video was recorded live before a canned studio audience. It's Friday Night Movie Reviews, and here they are, Chris and Keith.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm Keith.
I'm Chris, also known as the CNG25 on YouTube.
And this is Friday Night Movie Reviews. Thank you for being here. Tonight, we're going to review the movie that we went and saw on Friday night. And it is going to, let me tell you something, folks. This is going to be a blockbuster movie of the summer. This is probably the best movie that has come out. Now, I'm already kind of spoiling some things, but hey, you know what? Let's give a brief overview of the movie. The movie we went and saw was Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I kind of get confused with the title there because you can put either one in front.
Yeah, we're just going to go with the alphabetical, D before W, even though they're both equal in my eyes.
Right. Now, the reason why I say this is going to be a blockbuster movie is because I heard on the radio, Chris, that this movie has, let's see, when did I hear this? Yesterday? Heard that this movie has already made $200 and something million domestically.
Oh, get this. 6th biggest domestic opening of all time for an R-rated movie.
Right. So this folks is going to be a money earner, okay? A money earning movie. Now, without giving any spoilers away, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a brief overview of the movie. So, why don't you start us out, Chris?
It's basically Deadpool, just like they say in the trailer. It's him saving his universe. That's really the meat and potatoes of just the overview of the movie. Is he's out there, he needs Wolverine's help, and that's basically the premise of the movie. Yeah,
right. Very short, but it takes them 2 hours to tell that story. 2 hours. But let me tell you something, folks. To make things just a little bit clearer, the only time that you really get the clue from the previews that's what the movie is about is when he looks at the picture and he says, "This is my whole family right here, my whole universe, and it's about to go away." That's about the only time you get any kind of clue as to what's going on. And it's a picture of all of his friends. All right. Now, I'm not going to give anything away with all of that. You need to go see the movie to get the actual clues of what's going on. But it's that's basically what it is. His universe is in danger, and he has to save it. But he knows he needs Wolverine's help in order to save it. So let's get into some nitty gritty with this. Chris, is this a family movie, or do you need to call the babysitter on this one?
Oh, definitely the babysitter. Like this would be very traumatizing to young children, especially the language and everything in it.
Yes, folks, there is a lot of violence in this movie. This movie is one of the most violent Marvel movies that I've seen, even for Deadpool. Now, Deadpool has had 2 movies before this, but this was the most violent Deadpool movie to date.
And this one has the moniker of being Disney Marvel, and it's their first quote-unquote official R-rated film, if you don't count the old Touchstone picture stuff,
Right. Now, if you guys will remember, back in the past, Disney wanted to get into the more mature, I'm not going to say adult, but more mature movie genre. And the only way they could do that is they had to form this little production company called Touchstone Pictures.
Yep.
One of the first movies to come out under Touchstone was the movie Splash. Back in, 1984 or something like that? Anyway.
86, 87, I think.
Something like that. Anyway, somewhere back in the mid-'80s, they made this Touchstone Pictures, and that's where they put their more mature movies, the ones that weren't going to have a G rating, because they wanted all of the G-rated movies to stay under the Disney moniker and everything else to fall under the Touchstone moniker. But it was all PG or PG-13. It was never anything above that. This is the first Disney movie with the Disney moniker. We went and did some research on it. The first Disney movie with the Disney moniker to be an R-rated film. R rating. So what you're getting with this, extreme violence. There are fights, and I'm not just talking about fights, bloody fights all throughout the film. There's a lot of language, a lot of profanity.
And it's not just Deadpool; it's everybody in the film.
Everybody, including your hero, Wolverine. Yes, he has a dirty mouth as well. Now, when the comics first came out, when Wolverine comics first came out, Wolverine was not really a children's comic book character. He had his own. He did have a kind of a rough and tumble attitude, and he had bad language in some of his comics, but nothing to this degree. But Deadpool was always the one that had the more profanity in it, because he was the one that was breaking the fourth dimension, where he realizes he's a comic book character and he looks around at the audience and talks to the audience. Now, so there is a lot of profanity in it. A lot of profanity. Now, do you adult situations? There, I don't recall there being any nudity, and if there was, it was extremely brief.
Yeah, I don't remember any now. The adult innuendo jokes are all throughout the film. That's what Deadpool is known for.
Yeah,
That's his bread and butter. He's going to slide them in there with Wolverine at all times,
exactly,
to make people uncomfortable. That's what he does.
Exactly, and that's all what it is for, is to make you feel is to make the viewers and the readers, whatever it was with his comic books or movies, is make them feel uncomfortable, and it works because I think Disney, I think they pretty much, didn't they give Ryan Reynolds like full reign on just ad-libbing things? Because it seems like he just threw a whole bunch of stuff in there. There's no way they could have written all that stuff in.
Oh yeah, he's basically the new Bill Murray. He's the king of ad-lib. Like,
Right.
I would say that probably over 80% of what he says was probably not even in the script. And that's a majority of his movies, with Blade, going back to Blade 3 with him and his Hannibal King.
Right.
One and two are definitely ad-libbed. He's just, that's an art form in comedy that's not seen as much in today's time. Like, obviously Chris Pratt, Paul Rudd, they're real good at it.
Right.
But Ryan Reynolds, he's the king of ad-lib right now. Like,
right.
I put him in the same category as Bill Murray.
Exactly. So it was there was a lot of ad-libbing in it, and it worked. It worked. Now, what you can expect from this film, besides the language, besides the violence, it is an extremely action-packed movie. I don't think there was one scene that didn't have any kind of like action in it. So it was extremely action-packed.
It was either action or exposition the entire movie. Like,
right.
And it had at least 4 set pieces that were action-oriented film pieces in the film.
Right.
And we're not talking like just little scruffs here and there. Like, when a fight happened, it happened. Like,
right.
That's just how it was. This movie was built to be an action movie.
Yeah. From beginning to end, I would say. From beginning to end, it was completely and totally action-packed. As far as comedy goes, this not only did it have you on the edge of your seat watching it, but it had you rolling on the floor laughing at it. This movie was full of comedic sequences. Ryan Reynolds, as we stated before, the just about the king of ad lib, and he threw stuff in all throughout the movie, and it was funny from the get go. I mean, from the very opening scene until the very end of the movie, literally.
Yep.
Total comedy all throughout. There was believe it or not, there was a little bit of romance even sprinkled in there. A little bit of romance in it.
If you've seen the first two films, you know what we're talking about.
Right. So, here comes the big question. You all have worked really hard for your money. All right, now I'm not going to sing the song. All right, you've worked hard for your money. You've worked hard for it, honey. So you got to do this right. Now, the big question is, was this movie worth the cash, or is it trash? That's the big question. What do you think?
Oh, worth the cash, definitely. This is the movie of the summer you don't miss. Like, leave the kids at home with a babysitter, save up the money, go see this one. I would not set this one out for anything because Marvel's kind of been on a slump lately. This one makes up for it big time, and especially if you're a fan of the first two films or just a Wolverine fan in general, because this movie is just as much of a Wolverine movie as it is a Deadpool movie. Uh, so yeah, go see it. Definitely support this movie. You know, support Ryan Reynolds, support Hugh Jackman.
Right. Now let's cover that for a minute, because you made a very good point. Disney, with as far as the MCU is concerned, has been on a slump for quite a while. Let me tell you something, folks. They redeemed themselves with this movie. With this movie, Disney redeems themselves as far as the comic book movies go. Without giving away anything, I will tell you this: there were scenes in this movie that were stripped straight from the pages of comic books, straight from the pages and the covers of comic books themselves, and it was done incredibly. You can tell that everybody who was involved with this movie loves Deadpool and or Wolverine.
Yep, they knew the lore. It was nice to see it in form. I was nerding out. I was on the edge of my seat, like he was saying. You're on the edge of your seat because the things they were throwing. There was things in this movie I never thought I'd see on screen.
Right.
When we get to the spoiler section of the review, we'll go over those because, oh my goodness, they were not spoiled in the trailers. And whatever you do until you see the movie, stay off social media. You know, everything. Like,
Right.
do not do it. Try to avoid spoilers because this is a movie that doesn't need to be spoiled. This is one that you need to go into blind because it makes the experience. Because I was yelling at the screen, and we had a whole audience that was doing the same thing, so I didn't feel guilty about it.
I thought I was going to have to strap him down in his chair, folks.
Yeah. I mean, I was like on the edge of my seat, literally. Like, he was like, it's like, come on, Chris, dial it back a little bit. You're at a 10, take it back down to a 4. I was there. So yeah, worth your time, worth your money, because time is more precious than money. And
Right.
I will say, it met it actually really exceeded my expectations.
Mine as well. And let me state this as well. There were things, there were Easter eggs all throughout this movie. I mean, it's almost like the Easter Bunny just went all throughout this movie and just Easter egged all over it, because there are things all over the place. And if you're a comic book fan of either one or both of the characters, and you've kept up with them and you've read their comics for years and years, or if you are an MCU kind of kind of fan, then you'll notice these Easter eggs, and you'll see them all throughout the movie. Won't give anything away here. We're just telling you if it's something that you need to spend your money on and your time on. I would say if you have the money, go and watch the movie. Give it the support that it needs, because the Disney has really outdone themselves with this one, and I will give them praise for that. They've outdone themselves with this movie, and it is extremely well done as far as the special effects goes. The music, oh my gosh, the music is incredible.
When I turn to Keith and say I'm buying the soundtrack, it's a good soundtrack and a good movie,
Right.
Because this movie kind of was reminiscent of like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Like I own all three of those,
Right.
and I will easily buy this one too. So.
Right. So definitely worth your time, definitely worth the money. Go and see it, because you don't want anybody spoiling it for you. I promise you. Because if you sit and watch this movie after you've talked to somebody and they've told you everything that's going on in it, it's not going to be that big of a surprise. You want the surprises in this movie. Trust me. You want them. Now, that being said, do you want to go to the theater and see it, or do you want to wait for it to stream? And like we were saying, you don't want nobody spoiling this movie for you. So you definitely want to go and see it at the theater.
Yeah, there's no way that you, between now and 3 months when it's released on streaming, Blu-ray or DVD, all that, there's no way that you wouldn't be spoiled between now and then.
Right.
3 months is a long time as far as avoiding spoilers, and you're gonna have your colleagues, your family members, people you don't even know, like in the checkout line of the grocery store, spoiling this movie. Like it's gonna be the talk of the town for a while. So yeah, I would not wait for those 3 options. Go ahead and see it now.
Yes.
Now, definitely when it does come out, like on Blu-ray, DVD, I'll be buying it so I can see the extras, because it's like, what did they leave on the cutting room floor? Because the movie's 2 hours and 7 minutes long,
Mm-hmm.
but I could have sat there for another hour.
I most definitely could too. It was that good, folks. It was that good. You can tell. Yeah, you can tell that they kind of had to cut some things out to make it a little shorter. And I'm hoping that when it does come out on Blu-ray or DVD, I know it will be in my collection as well. And I'm hoping that they do make like a director's cut or something like that. If you're listening, Disney, here, that's a little hint for you.
Take our money.
Yeah, take our money. Make a director's cut. We'll give you the money for it, okay? So just go right ahead and make a director's cut and put all of the stuff back in. If it's 6 hours, I don't care. I'll watch it.
Yeah, everybody praises Endgame, and Endgame was really long. Actually, by the time Endgame was over, I was ready for it to be over. This movie, I sat there for 2 hours and 7 minutes, and it's just like, no, I want more now. Like,
when it was over, we were like, no. Almost pitched a fit like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
No, I want more.
And we sat there all the way to the end of the credits, and this is something that a lot of people always want to know. There is a scene at the end of the credits. Do not leave. We had about 10 or 15 people not stay to the end,
Right.
and they missed the whole joke at the end of the movie.
Right.
It's like, if you've seen the other 2 Deadpools, there's something at the end. Like, this isn't the classic Marvel bait and switch where they do a whole bunch of movies, then suddenly they don't do end credit scenes anymore. This one has one.
Right.
Please stay. They do have like a little like montage scene as the regular credits are going on that you'll see. So don't be fooled thinking, oh, that's just a regular, how a lot of movies will have like a montage scene during the credits. But stay to the end. There is an extra scene.
Exactly. Stay through until the credits are done rolling, because they do an extra scene there at the end, and it's worth seeing. It really is worth seeing. So, how many sodas would you give this movie?
I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. The only reason I don't give it 10 is, like I said, it really needed to have been longer. And right. I don't say that about a lot of movies. A lot of movies, I'm ready for it to be over. Like certain movies, you're sitting there for 2 hours, you're ready to go to the bathroom, all that, you can finally fidget around and all that kind of stuff. So that's the only reason I'm not giving it. There's certain things that I won't spoil yet until we're into that section. But I wanted more. I wanted a lot more. But since this was a passion project, these were fans that made this.
Right.
This wasn't the normal Disney thing where it's non-fans making a product and putting it out, and there's no passion behind it.
And it wasn't just the fans like writing it and directing it and doing that. Ryan Reynolds is a fan. I mean, he's a huge fan of Deadpool. He loves the character of Deadpool. And I don't know if you know this or not, folks, but Hugh Jackman's an old man. Believe it or not, he's an old geezer. But he actually wants to keep doing the part of Wolverine as long as he possibly can, as long as they will let him, because he wants to do it for the fans.
Until he's 90. You'll get that reference in a minute.
Right.
If you haven't already seen the movie.
So he wants to keep doing it. And so even the actors are fans of the parts they're playing, and you can tell it because they put so much passion into it. And you can feel it from the beginning scene until the very end. There is nothing but passion poured into this movie as far as writing, music, the choice of the soundtracks that they play, the actors themselves. I mean, it's just incredible all the way through the movie. And because of that, I will give it, and because Disney has done such a great job with this movie and hasn't destroyed it like they did with several of the other Marvel movies that they've done.
Eternals.
Marvels. I would say I give this movie 10 popcorns out of 10 because it was just that good in my book, because they just did such a great job with it, and they didn't garbage it and throw it in the trash like they did all the other stuff. So you get 9 out of 10 sodas from Chris because he wanted it to be longer, and you get 10 out of 10 popcorns from me because it was just so well done. And I would venture to say that we both probably would say that it was so well done that it's an incredible movie. It has summer blockbuster written all over it.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so much rewatch value in this one film that I could easily pop this in and rewatch it a bunch of times.
Right.
It's one of those type of movies.
Right. Like we said, so many Easter eggs all throughout it that you just can't see it once and catch everything. You have to, because there's so many little things going on in the background and around the characters themselves that you just can't catch it all.
Yeah, I was actually texting Keith earlier some of the nuggets apparently that we missed during our showing, and I totally didn't see it. That we'll get to in a minute in the spoilers. It had to do with the bus scene or whatever.
Right. All right. So 10 out of 10 popcorns for me, 9 out of 10 sodas for Chris, and it's definitely worth seeing, definitely worth spending your money on. Don't let anybody talk to you about it. If they've already seen it, just tell them to close their mouth. You're going to see it. Don't let them spoil it. I'm telling you, you really don't want anybody doing that for you because it's really that good of a movie. All right. So we enjoyed having you here with us. Thank you so much for all of your time, for watching the video. Just Chris, do your thing here with the whole subscribing thing.
Remember to like, subscribe, share the video. Please leave a comment in the comments section, and we will be back soon for another video. Make sure you ring that bell notification so you don't miss it.
Right. Thank you very much, folks. We appreciate it. You've been great. We love you, and we'll see you next time on Friday Night Movie Reviews. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night.